What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTP Ravens Media, bringing you Ravens content every single day. If you want to see that daily Ravens content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and hit the notification bell as well if you want to get notified every single time I upload a brand new video. Now, in this video today, I'm going to be talking about the offense, the Baltimore Ravens offense. Now, this video is not to say that I am frustrated with the Ravens. I am very happy with how the Ravens have been playing. Very happy with how they have been playing. I'm happy with the result of the Carolina Panthers game. I just want to talk about the offense because I said this weeks ago. The Ravens are going to have to play a different style of football. They are not going to play like the Kansas City Chiefs, like the Chargers, like the Bills, like the Minnesota Vikings. These teams that are like, points. That's not how they're going to play. But at the same time, when you're watching the Baltimore Ravens and the way that they're playing currently, they don't put up a lot of points. So this begs the question that I feel like I need to address in an individual video. I talk about it in the live streams. Do Ravens fans need to be concerned? Do the Baltimore Ravens need to be concerned about the offense and the offensive struggles that have come not just last week, but overall throughout this season? Because if you look at their point totals, they're not terrible, right? You put up 24 week one. Week 2 was great. You put up 38 points against the Dolphins. You put up 37 against the Patriots. Bills, you put up 20. Ravens, you put up 19. 20 against the Giants. 23 against the Browns. 27 against the Buccaneers. 27 against the Saints. And now 13 against the Panthers. Again, it's not bad offense, right? I'm not going out there saying all the Ravens put up 3, 8, 14, 10, 7. They're not doing that. No team in the NFL would do that and be able to win. But the Ravens offense is stalled. The Ravens offense has not been explosive. The Ravens offense has been, predictable in a lot of situations. So should the Ravens be concerned about the offensive struggles? And I'm going to say in a certain way, yes, I do think they should be concerned. Now, it's not because they need to be throwing the ball so much. Oh, they need to be doing these plays. They need to be doing that's not what I'm looking for. I think the reason that they should be concerned is the stutter, right? There's a lot of situations, whether it's the first drive of the game, the first 2 drives of the game, the first drive at a half, just 2-3 drives in a row where it happens, where the offense stutters. And it just goes bing, 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 3 and out, bing, 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 3 and out, bing, 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 bing. Maybe you got 1 first down and then 3 and out. And it falls apart. And luckily, the Ravens have built their team in a side that puts defense first. And so when they stutter, they can still save themselves, right? Now, it didn't work in week 2 when the offense kind of fell apart late in the game. Defense wasn't able to save them. The defense got cooked as well against the Dolphins. But overall, this offense has stuttered in every game. Again, I think the Ravens offense is designed to be run heavy. And this game against the Panthers, obviously difficult conditions. The wind was obviously swirling. It was a tough place to play, but at the same time, it didn't look good. I mean, there were a lot of situations where you're watching them and you're like, okay, yeah, they're just getting stifled. Whether it's, missing throws, dropping passes, being on the wrong page of routes, timing routes and things like that. This team just ends up doing too many things sometimes in a row where it just, boom, 3 drives in a row. It didn't work out. That's something that I feel the Ravens should be concerned about because it works against the Panthers. I don't care about playing the Panthers, right? That's fine. It's when you play against these high explosive teams that play very differently from the Ravens. You go up against the Chiefs, you go up against the Bills, you go up against the Miami Dolphins, you go up against the Cincinnati Bengals, and your offense starts stuttering. They're going to put up points because your defense is going to be out on the field and they're having to cover, whether it's Travis Kelce or Jamar Chase or Stephon Diggs. They're having to cover them with very limited rest time because your offense is not doing its job. That's where the concern comes from me, right? It's the inability to put up points on these other teams. It's the opposite. The way that the Ravens play is if other offenses start stuttering, the Ravens aren't explosive. they're going to take advantage of it in a different way, and they're going to start controlling the clock, which is exactly what we saw against the New Orleans Saints. It's exactly what we saw against the Browns. It's exactly what we saw against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You start getting stops on them, and it's not about, hey, we're up 7 points right now. Let's hit a deep shot 55 yards down the field to this other guy, like maybe the Chiefs would, right? Mahomes hits Valdez-Scantling for a 50-yard touchdown. Boom. Now it's a 14-point lead. Instead, what the Ravens do is they try and go, all right, let's control this clock. Let's get an 8-minute drive. Reduce the opportunities. And I like that style of football, especially with the way this roster was constructed. That is how I said when they traded for Roquan Smith, I said this is how the Ravens are going to have to play. They're going to have to play slow. They're going to have to play for a clock. They're going to have to play smart football. Smart football means effective, consistent. That is something that the Ravens need to be focusing on. I don't think they need to be focusing on, they got to work on that deep ball. I don't think it's in the cards. Could they hit a deep ball? Yeah. But that's not what this team is built for. This team is built to control the football, control the clock, and play physical. That is what the Ravens need to focus on consistently, especially over these next few weeks where you're, not going up against, crazy physical football teams. I'm not saying they're bad. But, when you have Panthers and then the Jaguars, that's when you need to establish yourself as being physical. And I think they did that this week, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They need to do it next week. Because after those, you play the Broncos, very physical, very tough defense. Then you play the Steelers. We know they're physical. Browns, physical. And the Browns, I believe, are going to have Watson that week, which is going to be, that much more difficult. Then you play the Falcons, which – the Falcons are a difficult team. They run the ball, they ground and pound. They're physical. Their quarterback's terrible, but they're physical. Like they play hard. Then you finish off against the Steelers and the Bengals again. Those are a lot of physical football games, and they need to prepare themselves by being physical and establishing the fact that if you make a mistake on your side of the football, you're not going to get it back for another 5-6 minutes. That is what I think. Overall, I'm not overly worried about this. Video is not to be me calling out the Ravens are doomed, the Ravens are in peril, the Ravens have no chance at the Super Bowl. I'm just saying, hey, I love the way that they're playing. I love what they're going for, right? I love the defensive-minded physical football. I love that. I think that's a smart strategy, especially with the way it's constructed. But at the same time, if you're going for that, you got to make sure you're executing, right? It's the same thing if you're in the NBA and you say, hey, we want to be a three-point shooting team. That's okay. Make sure you hit the threes, right? Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, you don't want to have games where you're going out there shooting 10% from three. You don't want to go out there where you're having consistent 3 and outs. You don't want to go out there where you're having to rely on your defense, game in, game out, drive in, drive out. Because that's what can happen if you play this style of football, is you become too dependent on your defense. The Ravens can't become too dependent on their defense to win games. That's kind of the overall gist. Because right now, like the Denver Broncos, too dependent on their defense, right? Broncos defense is great, but the offense plays way too safe because they're, they don't want to give up bad field position. They don't want to force a turnover. And then the defense just tries really hard and they allow, 10, 15 points and they lose. Don't do that. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys are thinking about the Ravens offense. Do they need to do different things? Do you like the way that they're playing? Obviously, this last game, this is not just, me going after that one game. But thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for daily Ravens content, and I'll see all of you again tomorrow.